Hi, my loves. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Vicky Efie. If you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, today we are doing something different, not necessarily different from what we've been doing, but it's different. I'm asking people, young people in their 20s, how life is with them. What do they do when they are at their lowest, and what message do they have to say to the world? The reason why I'm doing this video is because I want anyone out there who is having difficult time to know that he or she is not alone. So I have people's response on my phone, which I'll be sharing. I'll be reading it out for you guys. The first person I have on my list is Joseph. Joseph is someone I met on the street. I really don't know him, so I just had to ask him this question. This is what he said. He said, life is complicated because I find myself in situations which I am not supposed to be in. But at a point in my life, I was very much stable. But because it's called life, things happen and it affects my mental health. Sometimes I find myself doing things I'm not supposed to do. That's his life experience. Then I asked him, what do you do when you're at your lowest? He said smoking. Why? I asked him why. He said he just liked to smoke because it makes him, at that point he wouldn't be thinking about what is wrong with him. Then he said he knows that he doesn't help. He said smoking help for the moment, but his problem will still be there. Then the second thing he does is he read motivational quotes, then he affirms to it. Then the third one is he prays and also try to stay close to God. Then the last question I asked him was, what do you have to say to the world? Yeah, he said, what I have to say to the world, try not to judge people because you don't know what they go through. And no matter what, never give up. So that's what Joseph had to say to everyone watching this video. So the next person we have is Benita. Benita said, I have a lot to say. I will just calm down and write it because if I use voice notes, if you reach 5 hours. Okay, so let's get into it. She said, life honestly has been a roller coaster mixed with success and failure, joy and pain, happiness and sorrow. I honestly feel like problems in life are inevitable. No matter how perfect you are, you must surely experience problems. Funny enough, it may not be in the aspects we think it will come from, but from the least expected. In entirely, life has been fun, and each passing day gives us 1,000 reasons to draw closer to God. Then she said, at her lowest, she cries, she prays, and reminds herself that it's just a phase and it will pass. So I want everyone that is going through anything, try to pray because it's more like when you're going through stuff and at that point in time you don't know any other thing to do, just run to God and trust me, it will surely be over. To the world, the best advice is that you can only be sure of yourself and can only speak for yourself. Never self sabotage a new connection. If the foundation of any friendship, relationship, and any other is lies, do well to exit once you realize self improvement and develop makes you more valuable and attractive. Once you are guilty free, endeavor to think less about what someone thinks about you. And lastly, but most importantly, the relationship with God should be very, very imperative. Thank you, Benita. So the next person we have here is Nestor. Oh, Nestor gave us episode, guys. He said, I'll just cut it short. He said, I can't deny the fact that sometimes I find myself in this situation. It's a terrible place to be, but at the same time, it is a phase we must pass at some point in our lives. Then he said, what he does when he's at his lowest is, if I need to cry, I'll cry and I'll cry it out very well. I talk to some key persons who understand and are dear to me because the worst thing that can happen to anyone at a point is isolation. These persons will encourage me to keep going and keep pushing forward because they have been there too. Then he said, I personally live a journal life, so I go back to my archives which reminds me of where I'm going to, gives me a picture of my future. Here I see the possibilities that lies within me and in the future. At this low moment, this hope keeps me going. So Nestor said, what I have to tell the world is be patient with yourself, avoid unhealthy competition and comparison. Hope you guys are hearing. Those low moments don't last forever, but you can learn from your greatest lesson in them. No matter how little you think you've gained, learn to give out to your generation. This could be where your fulfillment might come. The best companion is God. Draw closer to Him each day because there is this void in every man that no one else can fill but Him. Sex, drugs, dancing, partying, doing hobbies, etc. cannot fill that void, but exclusively made by Him, for Him in every man. Thank you, Nestor. So we have a Sosa here. A Sosa said, life has been fair at every least. God has been faithful too. I won't deny that. What I do at my lowest is it depends on what's making me down at that moment. So she said at her lowest, it depends on what's making her down at the moment. Sometimes I cry, sometimes I pray, sometimes I overthink it and just get overwhelmed, which isn't healthy. A few times I'm just hungry, so when I eat, I'm good. It's just I said sometimes she's hungry, so when she eats, she's good. Okay, she said what she would love to say to anyone out there is as long as you have hair in your lungs, there is still a better hope for tomorrow. Let's keep living and being optimistic about our dreams and life goals, trusting God first. Thank you, Esosa. So we have Hilda. Hilda said, life is fair. Some days are good, some bad, but in all, we thank God. What she does at her lowest, she prays, she cries at her lowest. Then what she would love to tell the world is never stop believing in yourself and always have it in mind that God always show up for his children. Then lastly, hustle, acquire a new skill, be open to learning and be good to people. We have Ivan. Ivan said, life is great. Guys, Ivan must have been enjoying. So he said what he does at his lowest is he prays, he meditates, he works out, then he listens to music. Then what he has to tell you guys is don't forget to breathe. Life can come at you fast. Thank you, Ivan. I know. We have Queen. Queen said, life is like a roller coaster and have learned a lot, both good and bad things. Have been through a lot too. Everything isn't so grateful. There are bitter experience and good ones too. So my hopes are high always and I'll keep looking for silver lining. Okay, Queen. She says she prays and she cries when she at its lowest. Then she sleeps. Then what she has to tell the world is live your life the way you please and not to impress. You are obviously dying alone and getting judged by God alone. Lastly, live every day like it's your last. Death is inevitable. Thank you, Queen. We have Amaka. Amaka said, life keeps surprising me every day. In my lowest, I pray to God. What I have to say to the world is no one knows how afterlife is gonna be. So why not enjoy the most of it now? Stop overthinking. Love yourself. Cherish the ones that genuinely loves you. They comes only once. And not all that are nice are nice. Some just don't have choices but to be nice to you. Thank you, Amaka. Janet says that life is good. Thank you, Janet. And she also says that at her lowest, I pray. Why will I worry about things I cannot control or handle? Omo, I just live life every day as if it's your last. Worry less, sooner or later, everything will fall in place for you. Thank you, Janet. So here, guys, we have Sissy. Sissy said, currently, I'm at a stage that I'm learning a lot, especially from my mistakes. Then what she does at her lowest is that she watches movies because it's very therapeutic to her. What she has to tell the world is you can never know people. You would be surprised to what they can do. Don't help anybody in expense of yourself. Do you first before anything else. Learn to not overthink, especially in situations you can't control. Pray and never be too proud to pray. What works for B might not works for you. So find your path, love. Thank you, Sissy. We have Emmy. Emmy said, life is amazing depending on the mirror you're seeing life from. Some challenges we go through is to shape us to be better and prepare us for the next level. Then what she does at her lowest, she said, I pep talk myself, words of affirmation, and hope things changes for good. Then she also prays. Then what she has to say to the world is always stay positive. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you, Amy. The last person we have for today is Ambrose. I don't know if you can see. He said, life is good basically. The ups and downs it comes with are not things I can't handle. Oh, okay. Ambrose says that the ups and downs life comes with are not things he can't handle. So definitely he can handle the ups and downs. Then he said, at his lowest, I often like to be in oblivion and absolute silence while I pray. And yeah, it doesn't hold me down. I find comfort within and snap out of it. Then what I would love to say to the world is be hopeful, for God is always faithful. Thank you, Ambrose. Life is not always rosy, so just try your best to do what works well for you. What I do at my lowest is that I read books. I try to read books I can relate with. I watch movie. I play music. Yeah, I love to listen to music that can relate to my emotions at that moment. And I'd love to introduce you guys to one of the books I have read when I was at my lowest. It helped me a lot. It's called Is It Just Me by Grace Valentine. And I would love you guys to read that book. I'm really thankful for the author that wrote that book because it's not easy for someone to come out and say her life experiences to share it with you, especially the bad ones. So when you read that book, I am very sure you'll be able to relate to it. And I took some points from the book which I want to read it out for you guys. Here, I took a point which says you truly understand that it is okay not to always be okay. Now, it says that you have to understand that it is okay not to always be okay. You do not always have to be the strong one. You aren't alone. And there are people in your life who are struggling too. I'm one of them. But chances are your friends are experiencing hurt and disappointment as well. And they don't need the fake it until I make it. They need the real you. They need to know they aren't alone. This is basically the reason why I'm sharing this video. For you guys to know that you are not alone. Anyone going through anything, know that you are not alone. There are people out there they are going through difficulties in their life too. So just know that you are never alone. Please remember that there is no sin in crying. Cry about the test, cry about your pain, cry about the disease, your frustration, your mistakes, your friend, or the boy you weren't even dating. But as you are crying, fall at the feet of Jesus. Trust that any rejection from the world is simply God's protection. Trust that even when you have no idea what God is doing, He is still there and is working for your good. I really, really love this point. So no matter what you're going through, if you need to cry, cry it out because when you cry, I think you have a relief in yourself and never forget to always fall at the feet of Jesus. And I also have you safely enjoy the comfort and peace that comes from knowing that the purpose of life is about something greater than you are upset about now. Yes, I know we are going through difficulties and you might be upset that what you were planning to do has not come to pass. Like, okay, probably you're planning to travel and you don't have the money to travel and you're upset about it, or someone promises you money or promises you job and at the end of the day that didn't come to pass. I want you to always remember that as long as you have life, that the purpose of life is greater than what you are upset about, is greater than the job the person did not give you. So because someone did not offer you a job does not mean that you're not going to get another one that is better. Then another thing I have here is, if we don't admit that we struggle, we can't receive God's salvation. So always learn to admit it. Admit whatever is wrong with you, admit it. There's no point. You are pretending to be okay when you are not okay. Me, self, I have a lot going on with me, and I cannot pretend that things are going well when they are not. But I trust in God that surely it will definitely come to pass. Whatever our desires are, as long as we follow the ways of God, it will definitely come to pass. Then also said, let's not allow the fear of being wrong to stop us from growing. Grab your journal and write down how you feel. Don't allow the fear of being wrong to stop you from growing. Don't feel like because you did something bad you cannot go forward, or because, okay, let me say for example, you sin against God. When you sin, you feel guilty. That's if you have conscience, and you pray for his forgiveness, and he's going to forgive you, and he's still going to do that thing that he has planned to do for you. He will still do it. So don't ever feel like because you did something wrong, it's going to stop you from growing. Admit it, confess your sin, and pray to God, and He's going to help you. The last thing I have here is, your path might not look like others, but your path is exclusively yours. You are not supposed to be like someone else. Your path is exclusively yours. So don't always try to be like someone else. Don't try to compare your story with another person's story. Then it says, and God is leading you where you were meant to be all along. To my fellow overthinker, relax, breathe in, breathe out. Look at where your feet are planted. God brought you this far for a reason. You are doing okay, and you will be okay. Seriously, God brought us this far for a reason. We are doing okay and we'll be okay. So let's stop overthinking. Let's just pray and always continue to do what we know is best for us. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure you subscribe. And I really hope that this message or this video helps someone else there. Love you guys.